Good morning. Happy Saturday. I am filming today as a test of my new studio space. If you've been following me on Instagram at least, you'll know that I have a room in my house that I've been using for my art room and finally had the opportunity to renovate it. It had shag carpet and it was yellow and not well lit, and just wasn't working for me anymore as I've grown over the years. And so this is a little bit of a test that I'm trying out my film area and my lighting, checking sound, and I would love your feedback. So to begin, my name is Deanna. If we haven't met, I'm glad that you're here. And I am a watercolor collage / mixed media artist, but primarily watercolor and ink and pen and collage. Those are my favorite items. So I've been working on some poppy cards. It's springtime in Oregon, or in the United States. And in Oregon, anyway, we've got a variety of wild flowers and spring flowers that pop up, and I just love the big red poppies. Those are some of my favorite. So as I get into talking about what I'm doing today, things that you might hear, that because this is not a perfect filming environment. I'm in my home. My husband is working outside. He is currently using a blowtorch to kill the weeds on the driveway, so you might hear sounds like that. You might hear him coming and going from the front door. You might hear my cats running in and out of my room. I don't know, typical household noises. You might hear them, you might not. I would appreciate feedback though if you are watching this, and how is the lighting, how is the sound, that kind of thing. So let's do a little bit of creating. I have been teaching a weekly class at our community center for the city of Eugene called Peterson Barn. And so this was the last class. It just ended on Thursday, and we did more of these poppy landscapes. And so these are ones that I did a little while ago. They go along with another piece that I don't have out to show you right now, but a woman with a dress, and it's full of poppies as well. So this is one that I've been working on, and eventually I will cut this into a set of cards, and this will be for sale. So if you are interested, feel free to DM me or email me directly. And this is another study of poppies that I did, where I was experimenting with a different color palette up here, and then I did smaller landscape studies before doing this large one, which I really am happy with. And this has some different elements in it, kind of like, what might be under the ground. There's some organic shapes that might be rocks. And then, of course, the stems of the poppies, the poppy seeds, some little white floating pollen. We've got a ton of cottonwood in Eugene, and my nose hates it. Here is maybe the sky and some clouds. And you'll notice it's not necessarily, it's not a blue sky. It's kind of a yellow-gray sky. So trying to interpret things less literal. Though in the next piece I show you, I have a blue sky. The other thing that could happen, that I hope doesn't happen, is my camera might fall off its setting here. It's quite unstable, but we'll see how things go. And I've just locked my cat in the room with me, so hopefully he will stay. So this is a set of 4 poppy landscapes that I demonstrated in my art class on Thursday, and we talked about composition and thirds, and we did a simple wash of color in thirds. And so you can see this one's the easiest to see because it doesn't have really any detail on it yet, but we did 1/3 of each of the 3 colors that we were using. In this case, this is a mix of black and raw umber to get kind of a charcoal color, and I bloomed it with some water. This is a raw umber and burnt sienna mixture. Here's the burnt sienna with a little bit of orange, and then cobalt teal with a little bit of black. And so anyway, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and then using the same colors, doing 2/3, 1/3, and then I did put a strip of orange in there for interest, and then opposite here, 2/3 with the blue, again some orange, and 1/3 of the dark, and then here is the opposite of this, so 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And so that's what we talked about in class, and then they all chose their own color palette and their own motifs of different things. I did demonstrate how I like to do poppies, and so they were also doing my style of poppies. So I'm finishing up these 2 pieces here, and I think that for this video I'll go ahead and finish this one here. So for this I'm using my favorite gold liner by Kuratake, and it's a Zig Mangaka opaque liner, and it's gold. I also have a Stabilo All-Pencil, which I was using for a horizon line. I have a white Posca pen, a Micron, what size is that? 0.01. And then this is just a graphite, what do you call it, like an alcohol marker, alcohol-based marker that I found in our local art thrift store. We've got an art thrift store, and I think a lot of college students, when they leave their supplies, some of their supplies, and don't take them with. So what I'm doing right now is I'm making some gold random squares and rectangles in this bottom part here. This is inspired by Klimt. He does a lot of these rectangles, and so I'm going to tighten in and see if I can get in close for you all to watch a little bit easier. Let's see how this goes, and hopefully my hand doesn't block it too much. So I'm just doing random shapes, some long, some short, and try to stagger them a bit so that there is some interest. But I don't have a plan. I'm just going through, and then when I finish, if I go back and think that some spaces are too big, I can always make them smaller. And I try to have a variety of horizontal and vertical spaces. What's the matter, Stormy? My black kitty is in here with me. He is the one who's been sick. We don't really know what's happening with him. He has some edema in his tummy, and The doctors don't really know why. All right, and I'm going to continue that up here. And I like to do this kind of work. It's can be a bit meditative. And then there are other times where I can feel like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? There's so many marks I need to make. And if I'm feeling like that, I will stop and rest. So because I think that my mind is telling me it doesn't really want to do that right now. And so I try to pay attention to that. Unless, you know, I'm under the wire to get something done, I really try to go with where my energy is at and follow that. Do you want to go out? Want to go out? There you go. All right, I let my kitty out. And I've been thinking about doing this Poppy class as a live offering. If that's something that you would be interested in, I'd love to know that in the comments, or you can message me separately, however you like to communicate. But in that, I would demonstrate color mixing and watercolor washes. Poppies, you can see on the large ones, I kind of do a loose squiggly circle and I do two, and they overlap each other and the paint so that they are in some of the red paint and in some of the blue paint, and it in effect kind of creates a petaled appearance. And so I'm going to do that here on these little ones. And don't think I can get any closer. So my goal is just to not be in your way of seeing what I'm doing, which I might be, but let's see. So you can see that first squiggle circle. And that second one. And I'm going to do that on all of these here. All right, you can see those squiggles. And then with my Stabilo pencil, I'm going to get the tip wet and drop that in. Too much water on there. Drop it in the center there. And then for stems, I'm just drawing straight down. So that noise you probably hear is, hopefully you don't, but it's summertime, people are out mowing their lawn, using their leaf blowers. That is my least favorite outdoor tool ever, for so many reasons. Okay, so, oh, and then on the poppies I like to do, so these are the poppy seed heads, and they've got like little squiggle, whoops, little lines on the top, kind of, you know, where the petals have come away, and they have a little, almost looks like a little crown. Sometimes I scribble them on, sometimes I put 3 little lines. And then I'm putting gold in the poppy head just to give it a, so you can see kind of a black outline. See if I can get a little bit closer here. Not sure. My cat wants, one cat wants to sit in the chair where the other cat already is. And I'm doing a gold circle. Oh, he's going to try to kick her off. Let's see what happens. Alright. Oops, sorry. I realized I was so tight in that you didn't get to see all of those. But basically, that is that one. And then what I'm going to do is go in with my alcohol pen. You could do this with a paint marker or other watercolor marker. I'm just going to randomly color some of these dark for some contrast. And I like the alcohol markers because they bleed a little bit into the paper and it's a softer feel, more like a watercolor. And also, it does not go over the gold, so I don't have any worries about having to stay in the lines, but the alcohol, the gold pen resists the alcohol ink. So that makes that easy too. And I'm just picking random squares, just what looks good to my eye, what feels balanced. They do smell a little bit, so if you have any kind of sensitivities, you might want to just be aware. If you have any scent sensitivities, that the alcohol markers do smell. I don't know if they all do, but this one does a little, not a lot. But if you're more sensitive, it might feel like a lot. It's kind of a sweet smell. I don't know if you remember or if you had those markers in school. We actually have them at work as well, but they smell. They're supposed to smell like grape and orange and, I don't know, blue, whatever blue color smells like, blueberry. And I'm not sure what they smell like. I think our brain thinks they smell like something. So just trying to find a balance of squares and rectangles. Okay. The last thing that I'm going to do is the kind of, I'm calling this cottonwood or pollen that's floating around. It looks really great on the orange, against the orange background here. It gets a little bit lost in the blue, so we'll see how this goes. But for this, again, it's about balance for me, and I'm doing some large and some small and some really small, and kind of imagining as if they were floating away. You could do some up high. And I'm going to give some of these stems as well. So I'm going to give stems on like these little dots that are closest to the bottom. I'm not going to do stems on the ones that are higher up, just the ones that are closest to the bottom. Okay, so that is what I'm showing you today. Stay tuned for me to finish the final one. Got some other things I've got to do before I do that. I really want to take the tape off, but I'm going to have to wait. Probably don't need to because I'm not doing any more painting, but I'm still going to wait. And I hope that you enjoyed, and thank you for watching the video, and I hope that you will like it, subscribe to my channel. I don't post a whole lot, but I kind of go through seasons where I am posting more on YouTube than other times, and I hope also that you'll share it so others can have the opportunity to see this and some of the other videos that I have on offer. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you around. Bye!